Hey guys, the next video we're going to do for STAAR Review is all about vocabulary. Some of these will be in the calculator, some of them won't, but these are the 6 most common vocabulary words that if you don't know what they mean, you can't solve the problem. Okay? All right, first one we're going to do is the words directly proportional. You don't even have to memorize what that means in algebra. What I need you to know is what a proportion is. This problem says the value of y is directly proportional to the value of x. That means that if we made proportions, we can set up where my y's are on top and my x's are on the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing over here, y's over x's, and I'm going to put an equal sign in the middle. So when my y is 35, my x is 140, we got that. And then again, what is the value of y? We don't know. When my x is 70. So all I'm doing is lining up x with x, y with y on the top. When you solve a proportion, we're going to go all the way back to kind of the middle school days, and we're going to think that cross multiply, or some people called it bat and ball, or the butterfly method. But what that means is we're going to multiply this way. So I'm going to go in my calculator, and I'm going to do 35 times 70. 35 times 70. Enter, and whatever number I get, I'm going to divide it by this other guy. Okay, so the diagonals go together. The loner is the division, so I'm going to divide it by 140. Enter. Now, this is technically a bubble question, so you would not be able to use a fraction. Remember that to get a decimal, we would have to do a control enter, and I'll show you that right now. So control enter. Ooh, I lied. Let's undo that. I would probably need to type that one in one more time. So 35 divided by 2, then I could do control enter. There you go. You want to make sure it doesn't change your problem. It was trying to divide by 140 again. All right, so my final answer would be 17.5. I'm going to write out what I did for you. I did 35 times 70. And then I divided it by 140. And I got that 35 over 2. And we had to simplify it into a decimal. Okay? That's what directly proportional means. Set up a proportion, cross multiply. All right, second problem is not a calculator problem. What is the y-intercept? This literally means where do you cross the y-axis? So my y-axis is this line right here. If I look, where did I cross the y-axis? All it wants from me is the number 4. That's my answer. That's all it's asking. What is the y-intercept? It crosses on 4. Cool. Next. This one says, which best represents the rate of change? Rate of change is the fancy algebra word that just means slope. So if you don't know that, this could be a very hard question. If I tell you it means slope, then this is a lot easier. All right. Remember when we talked about slope, we had to find perfect points. So I might use this point. The next one doesn't really land exactly on the box, but if I come down here, this one does. Looks like I'm going down 2 over 3 every time. All right, so we're right about here. All right, looking at this one, most people remember slope as rise over run. So they would say I'm going down 2 over 3. But if I type that in the calculator, -2 divided by 3, I don't really get one of my answer choices, even if I do a decimal, control enter. None of those match. I have to remember that it's looking at the units. So my units are actually going down 20 because I'm going down 10 and then 10 again. So down 20 over 3. Let's change that up. -20 divided by 3, enter. Control enter to get the decimal. And now when I look at this, I have a much closer answer. -6.66. So this temperature is decreasing about 6.5. Okay. All right. If you needed a second to write that down, you could pause the video. Otherwise, we're going to move on. Let's talk about the next ones. Bottom question says, which table does not show y as a function of x? That's a funky way of just asking you which one is a function. If you remember, the rule is x can't repeat. So all I'm going to do is run through my x's, and I'm going to see, do any of the x's repeat? Those are all different, so he is a function. If I look at this one, these are all different. So he is a function. If I look at this one, these two are the same. He is not a function. I'm going to double check the last one. These are all different. Positive 24, negative 24 are different numbers. So this one is a function. Question said which one is not a function. So my answer is H. Okay. All right, moving on to the next vocab word, zero. People forget what zero means. They think they're looking for zero or something. All you are doing is trying to figure out where it hits the x-axis. Zero and solution and root all mean the same thing. So if I look on my x-axis, it's asking me where does it hit? It hits right here. That is a -6. This is a bubble in question. That's all you would need to bubble in, negative and the number 6. Okay, very easy question if you know what the word means. We have one more of these. Let's look. What is the positive solution? So solution again means where you hit the x-axis. Now, that one obviously we can't do just from what's given to me. I'm going to need to put it in a calculator. I'm lucky it already equals 0, so check mark on that. Let's go to the graph. Scratch pad again lets me type the graph. I'm going to make a fraction, control divide, 1/3. We're going to use x squared, and then a -3. Typing that in, it does not say that we want both of them. So if your graph looks like this, we don't want both of these, okay? We do not want this one. We only want this answer. I only want the positive solution. So I would go menu, trace, graph trace, and I'm moving it over to see where it hits the x-axis. Let's see what that number is. Oh, we get lucky. It's a +3. So the only thing you would bubble in is the number 3. All right, if you missed anything on this screen, you could go ahead and pause it now. Otherwise, flip the page and you try the next set of vocab.